one that takes the cake is Ho-Ho-Kus and Jay.
Welcome to the Hocus Heritage Keepers Project, episode All Aboard, the story of the trolley. While going around the town's residential area, you may have seen a long path that stretches through Ho-Ho-Kus, referred to as the right-of-way or the row. In this episode, I will tell you some of the fascinating history of the North Jersey Rapid Transit Company, which constructed and ran an electric interurban railway system that people called the trolley, connecting Bergen County in NJ with Rockland County in New York. The trolley ran in an era before most people could afford cars and was basically the first economical mass transit system. The trolley brought thrills and excitement in the early 1900s as it brought new freedom to more people to get out and see the world around them. During this time, many cities across America joined the golden age of the trolley system. The right-of-way is a long stretch of land about 100 feet wide and actually used to be the path of a trolley that went in and out of Ho-Ho-Kus from late 1909 to 1929. Only passing through Ho-Ho-Kus, this trolley line started at East Patterson and stretched all the way to Suffern, New York. The trolley made stops at Fairlawn, Glenrock, Ramsey, etc., along with Ho-Ho-Kus. From end to end, the whole line spanned 16 miles. While it stretched through many towns, the center of the system was Ho-Ho-Kus. Here was the location of the headquarters building, which occupied a little over an acre and was the largest building and employer in HHK at the time. The structure was constructed with steel frame, red brick, and reinforced concrete roof to make the building fireproof. It included a large substation for the transformers, the switchboard, and rotary converters. It also housed a machine shop, offices, a crew room, and a 3-bay car barn with repair pits to maintain the 11-car fleet. The beautiful train cars were mainly constructed of wood with a dark green paint and gold details. They were able to seat 44 passengers, but were known to carry over 150 passengers on race days at the racetrack. The cars were made by the Jewett Car Co. of Ohio and were noted of their elegance and high quality of construction. Each car weighed about 25 tons each and were built to the highest standard of the day. One of the first big days of the service was when a traditional car race was happening in Ho-Ho-Kus. While only 4 cars ran along it, it performed extremely well. Soon it became more popular and especially busy on days of races, holidays, county fairs, and carnivals. Over 25,000 people rode the trolley during the first 2 weeks of operation, which was limited at the time. While there were only 2 official trolley stops in Ho-Ho-Kus, that being on East Franklin Turnpike and Sheridan Avenue, the trolley employees were known to be very close to the community of Ho-Ho-Kus and often picked up and dropped off people in between stations. One instance of this is for one of the St. Luke's pastors at the time. Father Pinter was often picked up after Sunday Mass behind the church and was brought up to St. Paul's Mission Church in Ramsey to conduct Mass there. Only a short few months after the line opened, it suffered a disastrous wreck. A tragic deadly accident occurred on a fateful Friday on July 1911 in Ridgewood at the Prospect Street curve. A midday severe lightning storm had knocked out some of the train signals, which ultimately led to a full-speed head-on collision. This awful accident ended in 3 people dead and 16 injured and immediately stopped future plans of expanding the trolley stations. The trolley superintendent was one of the crew who died that day. A new superintendent from Ho-Ho-Kus, Mr. Jackson, took over. The company moved quickly and successfully to settle all claims. The litigation forced the company into receivership and bankruptcy in August of 1911. The track continued to operate. However, another accident occurred in Ho-Ho-Kus when a man unknowingly stumbled onto the tracks and was sadly hit by an oncoming trolley. Despite these tragic incidents, the trolley was very popular. On race days, county fairs, and special events at the Ho-Ho-Kus racetrack, the trolley experienced very high patronage. Yet, around this time, the bus line started making inroads into the trolley businesses. Roads were being paved and people loved driving their own cars, so the ridership of the trolley dropped dramatically, and they had trouble paying for the electricity to run it. In 1929, when the trolley ceased operation, it was the end of an era. Mr. Jackson retired. He had been preparing for the closing down of the system since the early 1920s and had been studying landscape and architecture. He and his wife built beautiful gardens on their property, and people came from all over to view the magnificent George Jackson Gardens. Today, while the trolley is not in use and a majority of the trolley tracks and stations are gone, there is still several remains of the trolley system to look for in the town. The first and most obvious is the public service right-of-way, which was the route of the trolley system tracks. The land is now owned by PSEG. Today, many people use it for walking their dogs, bike riding, and I've even seen some country skiers using it. While walking down East Franklin Turnpike between Elmwood and Edgewood Drive, you'll see that a set of trolley tracks are still visible in the sidewalk. The trolley crossed the Zabriskie Brook behind what is now 16 Lakewood Avenue, and the trolley bridge over the brook is still in place. The Superintendent Jackson's house, built around 1830, is still used as a residence at 110 Sheridan Avenue. This site was the location of the Sheridan Ave trolley station. The accountant/bookkeeper's house still exists at 125 Elmwood Ave. Remnants of the Sheridan Ave trolley station have survived and are maintained at the Sheridan and Hollywood. While small, these little remnants serve as proof and reminders of the history of the town. Furthermore, now when you see these parts of town, you will have a better perspective as to what it is and what it was used for in the past. I'll close with 2 fun facts. Historians and track enthusiasts say that when the trolley line was dismantled in 1929, the rails were also sold to Russia for the use of the Trans-Siberian Railway. And at the end of August 1917, the country was going to war. The North Jersey Rapid Transit was on a war footing. Men went to war, and the trolley company needed conductors and inside people to handle the trolley's businesses. So at the start of 1918, several women started handling the duties as conductor. Next time you walk down the right-of-way, I hope you enjoy a walk back into the pages of time. Thanks for listening and keeping history alive. Please check out the entire series of the HHK Heritage Keepers episodes on this channel.